What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our second FSU lacrosse talk here. I hope everybody enjoyed what we did with the last one. If you missed it, we spoke with Team President Ryan Farquhar about the upcoming season and also some of the branding issues that we've been facing as a team. Today, I want to make it a little more fun, a little more light, and I'm going to be talking with the current head coach of the lacrosse team, Jonas. Jonas is here with us. Jonas, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been on. Jonas was a player for 4 seasons. He's from Tallahassee, and now he is the head coach. Jonas was a star player. He was a captain. He was one of the more dominant defensemen on the team, and we could honestly say that he's probably the most relevant and important FSU lacrosse player in the last 5 or 6 years, at least in this generation. We're very happy to have him as our coach. And Jonas, why don't you tell us a thing or two about yourself?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. George covered it. I started on the team in 2020, so that was COVID year. So didn't really get a first two full seasons until after 2020 when it was over because COVID hit. 2022 hit, 2023. I was captains, finished out SCLC All Conference, and then during that time I was actually coaching at a high school, local high school it's actually my alma mater, Leon High School, while playing. So that was definitely a lot of fun, kind of challenging and juggling both. But really, my love shifted. I have so much love for the sport, but it shifted towards FSU. Giving back to the alma mater and playing and coaching with these guys at such a high level, it's refreshing and it's so rewarding, and it's really cool to see how the program's taken the turn in the right direction. Especially with the guys we have right now, they're bought in. For the guys that saw Virginia Tech, I don't think there was a single person besides an FSU fan that thought we were going to win that game. And so as we step into this week, we're playing number two, we're playing number three, and then we're playing another top 10 team, Georgia, who's been on a really good run next Friday. And so it's really cool to see how this team blossoms. And really we're a very front heavy schedule. And so really these next three games are going to be a big determinant in how our season goes and how our run for nationals goes.
Interesting. And now, how did you get into coaching? You say that while you were playing at FSU, you were also coaching. Was that your first experience coaching lacrosse?
No, actually. So I graduated in 2017 at Leon High School. I ended up going to TCC for 2
You
years.
played 4 years at Leon.
Yeah, I actually started late as a lacrosse player. I started as a sophomore in high school,
Did you play
and
anything else?
immediately I played soccer back in the day, but I was really more of a gamer. But one of my friends convinced me to come out. It was one of those things where like, oh, I don't know. But as soon as I had a lacrosse stick in my hand, I was running around with the boys. I fell in love, and
Hmm.
so it was I really just picked it up and ran with it. So I graduated 2017. I went to TCC for the first 2 years. So during that time, I helped with Leon as an assistant coach. I was a JV head coach for 2018 and 2019. I was a defensive coordinator. I coached under Lou Albazi, who actually was my coach for high school as well. But he's also a former FSU coach.
Yeah, he joined us
Great
at the
guy.
alumni game this last year. It was good to see him.
Yeah, we love Lou. Lou's a great guy. He loves lacrosse. He's still around in the area. He's helping out with Lincoln High School recently. But it's been a privilege to be able to coach under that man and play under him. But really, it started in 2018. Like right after I graduated high school, I was an assistant, and then once I joined the team for Florida State, I took 2 years off of coaching. I was coaching club, kind of on and off. But then once my junior year hit, at least my junior year eligibility for FSU hit, Leon needed another head coach, and I kind of just answered the call. And granted, I wasn't done with my major. I was still in college. I was still in the thick of it for Florida State, but I wanted to see that program turn in the right direction. So joined it. I got a really good coaching staff to build around me. It's not just one guy. It's who you build around yourself.
You're still
And
coaching there too, right?
so actually, I stepped down this year, or I guess 2024 at the end of our spring season. I stepped down. I just juggling being a coach and a player at the same time is one thing because you can kind of set your priorities straight. But coaching a high school team and then a club team at the same time, it's mind boggling how much of wear and tear that takes on you, and it's more mentally than physically. sometimes we'll have a doubleheader for FSU and a doubleheader for Leon. And I'm a big scout guy. I'm a film nerd. So when I'm going into weeks like that, I'm not scouting for 2 games. I'm scouting for 4 games. And so it really took a toll. So I kind of me and my roommate, Aiden Skokin, he's our offensive coordinator for Florida State. We really had to make a big decision to whether we commit to one team or the other. And FSU, we wanted to be with those boys. And Leon, we still have a lot of love for those boys out there, and they're still competing right now to this day with their new coach. But we kind of had it. We had to pick. We can't give half of ourselves to either program. It wouldn't be fair to ourselves or those programs.
Of course. Well, we're glad you picked Florida State. And what was your major? Was sports management?
I was exercise physiology.
Exercise and physiology. Okay. Are you going for masters or are you gonna
Right now, taking a little break. Exercise physiology is the pre-med route, and so those classes are no joke. So being able to take this break coaching and just working, it helps kind of reset the mind. So yes, that door can still be open for the future, but right now I'm coaching and I'm working. And also, this is my dog right here. She's decided to hop in the
What's
lap.
her name? What's her name?
Her name's Eden. She's a good girl.
Love it. So you graduated from FSU, you were assistant coach for a little while, and then you got the head coaching gig. This was about halfway through the year last year.
Yes, so there were some coaching changes last year. 2 weeks out before UF, the team made a decision. They decided to move me up as interim, and we had 2 weeks to plan for UF. And it was great. It was great to see just the change of energy, and it was awesome. And for those that saw that UF game, it wasn't even close. The boys were juiced, and it gave us a really, really great momentum going into SELCs. Granted, we lost to Georgia Tech by 1 goal, but it was a shootout. It was a shootout, and there's a lot of regrets from that game, coaching wise, player wise, personnel wise. But at the end of the day, we competed at a high level and we represented our program the way we wanted to.
Well, and now it's a new season, and you guys have started out strong. You're now 3-1, correct?
If you count the scrimmage against Tampa Club, but right
Okay, no,
now,
we won't spread it. We're 2-1. And the
yeah,
loss was to Georgia Tech, which quite possibly or might be the best team in the league this year. Am I right? Still,
Georgia Tech is a very, very disciplined team. They're well coached. They have a phenomenal attack line, and their defense is disciplined and aggressive. And their system, they've been running that same system. And there's programs that you can know what they're going to do, but even though you know what they're going to do, it's hard. It's hard to play against it. There's a reason they're doing that. All right,
the coach
and
is
so
still the guy Lovick. Is it still Lovick?
yeah, Ken Lovick, he's a great
He
guy.
was there when I played. That was 25 years ago.
He's a legend. Yeah, he's MCLA president,
Mhm.
and he has a great staff around him. And really, that's a dynasty program where there's a lot of programs that kind of have pops and they go up and they go down. Georgia Tech is one of those programs that they're dynasty. They're consistently making national appearances and they're consistently making runs, and you're know what you're getting with them. They're not inconsistent as a team, and so that's something that's a huge testament to the coaches and also the players.
Well, hopefully you'll see them again in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, we want to see them. We want to see them. The team wants to see them. We've we faced a lot of travel adversity these last couple of years, just with bus situations, and those don't not many people know. But when we were going
Is
up
it
to play
because
Georgia
Ryan
Tech,
Farquhar was the travel and safety officer and he couldn't get his stuff together?
yeah, no,
We
actually,
can call him
it
out now
skipped a year
because
with him.
he's not here.
That's funny. Yeah, he's no, it wasn't Ryan. It was just there's unforeseeable circumstances.
I know.
The
I was there.
buses.
Mhm.
Nah, we can give Ryan a hard time. He needs it. But unforeseeable circumstances. Our bus actually on the way to Georgia Tech this year, something happened with a cylinder in a wheel well, and we had to stop, switch buses. We were dealing with eligibility issues. We're all cleared on that now. So there was just so much stuff happening to build up to that game, to where once we actually got there, we had basically a 45-minute warm up, fresh off the bus,
Mhm.
and they
And that's
ran
to
up.
pile on all the other drama that's going on with the team and the school and the university and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wish as a coach, like you could just deal with the field stuff, but that's just not how it works. There's so much going on behind the scenes, and having a good exec board is something that's huge for programs when they're handling that, and the coaches can just be on site. It makes a huge difference. But also, you're basically planning for no surprises. there's going to be surprises. There's going to be fires. You're putting out fires, but you want to plan accordingly to where there's minimal fires, so they're easy to put out. But yeah, Georgia Tech went up 7-1 against us, and we started climbing back. We made it a 1-goal game, and they ended up winning by 2. And realistically, if we put 4 quarters together, it would have been a way closer game. Granted, it was a 2-goal game. We just can't come off. We can't come cold like that off a bus. And so, but we've also learned from that. Hey, when teams are traveling at us, we have to go. We have our home field advantage. All right, we've been here. We're not sitting cramped in a car all day or playing all day. We're going to come out hot. And so that it was a learning lesson. You take the lessons from the wins, but you also take the lessons from the losses. So I think the team got better from it. And talking with the boys now, everyone wants to see Georgia Tech again, and they're very confident in personnel and what to do. And realistically, it's the discipline that separates those teams. And I think we're at the point now where we can run with any team in the MCLA through the discipline. The skill was always there.
Well, it sure looked that way against Virginia Tech. So, what do we have to look forward to for the rest of the season? What games should we be watching? What teams should we be following? What do you think we can expect from the rest of the season, and then going into the SCLC playoffs?
Absolutely. So earlier, like I said, these next 3 games are huge. They're very contingent on if we want to obviously win SCLCs and get that bid, that automatic bid. But if we win 2 out of 3 of these next games, and obviously we want to win all 3, that's a really good chance if we finish out the rest of the season undefeated that we're going to nationals.
Now
And
that's
so
what, now that's the important games that we would like to win are that's UF and Clemson. Was it Clemson?
So no, it's actually these next 3, it's Utah Valley tonight. We play Texas on Sunday in Texas,
Right,
and
right.
then we play Georgia in Athens on next Friday. And UF is also a huge game. I'm not going to count them out. They have really good talent, really good coaches, and no matter what the rankings are, even if we are ranked 3 and they're ranked 13, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a dogfight every single time. And if anyone that says otherwise is wrong. And they brought a lot of new talent in, and they got the social media hype and presence over that. We also brought a lot of talent in. All right. We just don't show it as much, but also we like it because it gives us a competitive advantage. You got to do your research to find out who we have. And, that's a double-edged sword. All right, the college boys, they love that exposure. They love all the fancy posts about guys coming in. But at the end of the day, you're going to get your posts in those highlight reels. So
Were these transfers from like D2 transfers or something like that? I know I heard the news, but I wasn't familiar with
okay,
the
yeah.
transfer
So we
pool.
got a couple transfers. We have one D1 transfer right now. His name's Ricky Savage. He's from Loyola. He played over at
Is that
St. Ed's.
is that the attackman?
No, so that's Matt Wyatt. We got him last year from Belmont Abbey, but that's
I'm
D2.
learning the names. I'm getting there. By the end of the season,
Right.
I'll know the names.
It's all right. So just once you watch the games, you'll see the dogs. So yeah, Matt Wyatt, he came from Belmont Abbey. He's a stud lefty attackman. He actually didn't start till halfway last season when we were playing Auburn, and we just made a personnel switch, and he immediately saw his moment and ran with it. But Ricky Savage, he's a sophomore now. He's a transfer from Loyola. He's played at he was in Vero Beach. He played at St. Ed's High School. We also have Bradford Wharton. He played over at PBA, Palm Beach Atlantic, D2, and he came over from King's Academy. And we have another transfer. He transferred and then kind of just went to school for a little bit, and now he's playing. But he's from Flagler. His name's Braden Forrest. We got so many different transfers. We got a guy from Wingate, Tyler Moltisanti, but those are guys we had last year. But still, like very impact players from the NCAA. But the most significant right now is the guys that we brought in that the first 3 I named. But
So,
everyone has a piece in that part. And that's our strength as a team is we have so much talent at our attack line, obviously, and I'll talk about them some more later. But midfield line, we have 3 strong lines that we fully plan on playing, and it's really fun to see. That's really for me and Aiden to see who are they going to put a LSM on. All right, what poor Saab is going to be the D midi that gets our middies dodging downhill. That's something that we're really looking forward to seeing in these next couple of games because it's really pick your poison. It's really pick your poison.
now, in terms of your coaching methodology, the way you like to run things, Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you had practices. You had probably what, maybe two or three different coaches at FSU. How are you doing things differently that the players are responding differently or
Absolutely.
better to, something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I take a lot of my coaching method from Darby Brower. He was one of my early Florida State coaches, and I love the guy. He's a stud. He was an All-American for the team. He played for Florida State. He's a big rah-rah alma mater guy. But something that I took from his practices was there's not much downtime. All right, I've seen in past coaches for high school and college, in between drills, there's a little bit of a lull and
Standing in
kind of
line and kind
exactly people
of.
standing around, a little bit of a lull, hanging out, and that helps you kind of get unfocused. And something that we've been really focused on right now is keeping the boys engaged and using every single minute, every single second. And yeah, there's times for water break, obviously, and giving guys breaks and breathers, but keeping them engaged for those 2 hours. And something that we preach is, it doesn't matter what's going on outside. Obviously, what's going on in your guys' lives is huge. And as a team, we're going to support each other. But when you step onto that field for those 2 hours, none of that matters. And really, we want to take advantage of those 2 hours. That's the difference between club and NCAA. Is NCAA, they have the morning workouts, morning practices, whatever, night workouts, night practices, depending on what the program is. We have 2 hours every day. And we also implement film outside of that, but we got to really take advantage of our time. And something that hurt us in the past and was when Tallahassee froze over. I'm sure you saw that there was some snow in Tallahassee. We're not equipped for that here in Florida. And so we were going into Georgia Tech. We were supposed to have 9 practices under our belt, and we ended up only having 4. And so that was a big difference in going into that game. And that's one of those unforeseeable circumstances. But the biggest coaching strategy is run fast, play hard, and back each other up, play with passion, play with creativity, and really just if you're out there and you're working harder than the next guy in front of you, you're gonna get on that field. And we have so much talent on this team that it's making our jobs hard as coaches to see who fits in these spots. But at the end of the day, the guys that are working the hardest are the guys that get rewarded. And so that's kind of our outlook on things is all right, nothing's given to you, you take it. And I'll use Matt Wyatt as an example. Last year, he wasn't given that spot. He might have deserved it. He might have been the more talented guy. But when we put him in that position, he earned it. He took it. He took that spot. And there's no one right now that can even beat him out or even has a thought of beating him out because of it. So it's cool to see that the boys have really bought into that. And it's a competitive mentality, and when we're in practice, iron sharpens iron. We have the defense pitted against the offense. At the end of the day, things get heated in practice sometimes, but at the end of the day, they're smiling and hugging and they're hanging out together outside of it. That's what matters because when you're going against big teams, big name teams like Texas, Utah Valley, Georgia Tech, Florida, you have to test each other every day in practice. Otherwise, once you see that other color, all right, and once you're going to get someone that's not your friend, you're going to get punched in the mouth, figuratively.
Exactly. Exactly. So one of my favorite memories of all the alumni games I've been to was last year. And this was the first time I'd ever seen anything like this. So we're out there playing. Jonas is out there coaching. All of a sudden, next thing I know, Jonas is flipping his shirt around and runs over to our side. And next thing I know, he's playing defense for us. Within like a minute, he gets a ground ball, totally bulldozes one of his players. You remember that?
Yeah,
While
I
he's
remember.
screaming at the kid and talking smack. And it was just it was kind of a glimpse into the intensity that you bring to these practices, and I think that that's a good way to I think that that's a good way to coach, to just lead by example, always have good intensity, you know always bring your best, and always show the guys that you're out there willing to put all your effort into it, and they should do the same. Um,
I like
now,
it.
um, give us one player to watch on offense, one player to watch in the midfield, and one player to watch on defense while we're watching these magnificent streams that you guys put on.
That's hard. One guy, it's
We'll talk
66 on both
again, and
sides.
I'll ask you
Yeah,
this question again in a
yeah.
couple of weeks. So you don't have to just pick one person and that's it. You could just tell us somebody watch. It could be a new guy. It could be somebody, a second stringer on the bench who
Okay,
who
okay,
might be really good by the end of the year. It doesn't matter. Just somebody who might be interesting for us to watch or keep an eye on.
Okay. That's a hard one. Really, it's really hard. So we have so many talented attackmen. Andrew Zeman. I mean, Andrew Zeman's our best
We don't have
shooter.
to talk
Now,
about him anymore. We've talked about him enough.
all right, Matt Wyatt. We talked about Matt Wyatt, but the guy that we hear his name a little less, but realistically, he's an acrobat. All right, Tyler Morris. He's right now he's a junior and he's coming out of Georgia. He didn't play his first year on the team because he was dealing with some back issues, but he came out and made an immediate impact, immediate starting spot in attack. He's the guy that
What
when we were
number is
playing
he?
Virginia, what's up? He's
What number?
21.
41. Okay.
21. Yeah, I should have articulated that. So 21, tall, lanky, blonde attackman, goofy, but he does things that doesn't make sense. All right. Virginia Tech, they were two-man offsides. So with the goalie, that's 9v6. And they went to double him because they were just trying to kill it so that it would go into the man down. And he hit the B button. All right. He span around both of them, scored when they were two-man up on us. And it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous to watch. He's the diving guy, he's the flying guy, he's diving around crease, behind the backs. Everything that shouldn't make sense makes sense with this guy. And
The
he
stuff most
meshes very
coaches would
well.
yell at you for, he actually pulls it off.
100%. And that's something that we want to kind of pride ourselves as like that's him. That's him as a player. We want to give these guys the best chance and let them play out of that. Let them be creative. We don't want to put these guys in a box. We want them to do the things that we can't even coach. All right, because you can't. There's some things in lacrosse you can't coach that. That's just pure creativity, athleticism, grit, and he has that. All right, so Tyler Morris is that guy. He really is. And the biggest problem for teams is who are you going to put your best on ball pull on? And, you know, whether it's be Zeman, who's our top scorer, or you got to pick between Matt Wyatt or Tyler Morris. And really, it's a hard question to ask. It's really a hard question. So it's really cool to see how creative he is, especially around the X. So he's coming around crease and he's deceptive and has a great two-man with Zeman too.
So let's move to your your own position on defense. Who should be watching on defense? And I thought the defense looked really good in the Virginia Tech game. It was hard for me. I was trying to pinpoint one in particular who I thought looked really sharp, and I thought they all looked good, both
Yeah.
with the
So
ball and without the ball.
for Virginia Tech specifically, because we have our defense we have a bunch of dogs. All right, we have a bunch of dogs who are cohesive with a great goalie at the helm, and he got the game ball, Sarah McMahon. So he got 12 saves against Virginia Tech. Most of them were doorstop. But the guy I want to touch on right now is number 30, Jack Schiffel. All right, he's one of our LSMs. He came from Long Island. He's a sophomore right now. He had 7 ground balls and 3 caused turnovers that game. And I congratulated on him on his stats because that's amazing. That's almost unheard of, especially in a competitive game like that. And his response was, "Yeah, thanks, coach, but honestly, like sometimes the ball just bounces your way." And I think honestly, that's a testament to our entire defense and their cohesion because it's not me, 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 me. It's we. It's us. And Jack Schiffel is one of those guys that he is a breakout player. He's a phenomenal player. But he has that mindset to where it's humble. It's the team. It's for the team. And it's one of those things that I want that to spread. I want that to spread through everyone on defense and even offense because this man did crazy things. He's surgical. He's surgical on his checks. All right, on the ground balls, he's hockeying it around. The touches are uncanny, and he's getting turnovers from it in ground balls and transition opportunities. And he has opportunities to shoot, but he's the kind of guy like, hey, if he's wide open, he's going to take that shot. But he's going to look for the smarter pass before that. And so that's something that really stood out to me in that Virginia Tech game. And a lot of other guys had great games too. Or we have a number 44, Mason Ryan. He's our horse as a D midi. You can't catch him on the clear. I want to bet like there's probably not a single team that can catch him on the clear. And if they do, shame on me. But he's one of those guys that will invert him. We'll put him on attackman. We'll play bully ball. And that's kind of our coaching strategy too. And I'm not going to do it in every game. And for the teams that have scouted us, they've already seen this, so this isn't like a spoiler. But sometimes we'll run a D midi on an attackman. We're taking guys' job security away from them because in the MCLA, it's really easy for attackmen to kind of slip through the cracks and just be, ball taxis, feeders, whatnot. there's no reason to put a pull on them. Honestly, I'd rather put a D midi that's great on ball, who's going to still have the same result, all right, and stop them from scoring. While and we could run another LSM up or another pull up, and it's all situational. It won't always be the same guy on the same guy or the same spot, and that's kind of something that's dangerous with our defense. Is they're hybrid, all right. LSMs can play low, pulls can play high, D mids can play low, and they're all comfortable as well. At least the guys on the field. So it's really cool to see that, and then that's what takes us to the next level when you can play anywhere and be comfortable while you're doing it. And so Mason Ryan's someone that I want to shout out as well on the defensive side for that.
Well said. What about in the midfield? You got anybody interesting we should be looking out for one of the middies?
So I mean, it's there's two middies that are sticking out to me. I can't pick one, to be honest. I'm gonna say them both. Just and I'll be quick about it too. But really, we got Ricky Savage, Loyola, number 3. You can't guard him, and especially like this is one of those situations where he's going to beat his man. He's going to draw the slide, whatnot. But what are you going to do when our attackmen are the guys off ball? All right. And it's the same thing for number 29, Dean Rothschild. He's a sophomore as well. We call him best in the nation on the team. Really, it was self-proclaimed, but people started catching on once he started scoring every single. Dean so far has gotten every first goal in all 3 of our games, and he's a tone setter. He's gonna run through whatever he needs to run through. In practice, when we're doing numbers drills, he's asking for the 1v3, and unfortunately, as a defensive coach, he's beating the 1v3. So that's a whole nother story. But he's doing what it takes, and he's a dog. And both those guys, Ricky and Dean, they're dogs. And I really look forward to seeing what they do tonight against Utah Valley.
All right. Well, then that brings us to let's talk about tonight. So we've got Utah Valley. What time's the game?
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. We've got the stream ready to go, correct?
Yep, it's all set. All our streams are already like pre-planned on YouTube, so you'll see like the Florida stream in April is already on there. So,
Right.
just go on our YouTube FSU Club Lacrosse and you'll see it. FSU Men's Club
And
Lacrosse.
then anything else over the weekend, or is it just the game this Thursday? Don't you have a game on Saturday as well?
So we play tonight. Tomorrow's our rest day. Saturday we're flying to Texas, and then Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. we play Texas.
Wow.
And yeah, and Texas is a serious team as
Are you
well.
guys on spring break already, or is this just a weekend trip?
It's just a weekend trip. We start spring break March. I think the boys get off March 9th, and then they're going to come back March 14th. Actually, I could be wrong. I think it's March 8th to March 14th. But we still have plenty of time until spring break. But right now we're getting the big dogs out of the way, and obviously from a coaching perspective and a player's perspective, it's a lot. It's a lot on their bodies, it's a lot on their minds, and it's a lot on us coaches for getting the proper scout out because we don't. There's teams that we play that we obviously we're taking them seriously. We're taking every team we play seriously. We're not looking past anyone. We're not looking past USF or UCF
Of
are
course.
the teams we have to play in our division. We're scouting every team pretty thoroughly. So we want to make sure we give the boys what they need in order, to use those tools in the game. And
All
something
right.
I talk about too with the scout, Utah Valley has done a very good job at making our scout as hard as possible because they played, I believe, Washington State and then SUU, 2 teams that, they really should have no business playing. They beat one of them 29-0, and then they beat the other one 22-2. And it's just one of those things. It was 29-2, and then they beat the other one 22-0. We can't get a scout off that. It's just guys dodging 1-to-1 to cage. All right, we know they can score. We can't see they're clear because they're just hitting the up and outs. They're getting takeaways and clearing it up. They're not going in actual sets. So with that, though, they're a great team. Right, we looked at their national championship game against BYU. We saw the semifinals against Georgia Tech. They were hanging with the top dogs, and they brought a lot of their guys back. But something that the edge that we have on them isn't just home field advantage. It's the fact that we're battle tested this season.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been tested this season.
You played two strong teams, and you've already been through some ups and downs in terms of travel, and you guys are ready to go.
Yeah, we're locked and loaded. The boys are energetic, and their wounds are healed. We're at full capacity right now, and we're about to be firing on all cylinders. So that's our edge. Our edge is home field advantage. FSU's a beautiful campus. Once you hear that war chant in the background,
Mhm.
you're wondering where the heck you are. And when they come off that plane, all right, we're fully planning to go full speed. We're not taking a full quarter to get into it. We're going off rip, and that's something that we did really well against Virginia Tech. Is we went up 3-0 on them. They ended up coming back a little bit, made a 1-goal game, but then we started taking off, and that's what it takes, and it's that standard. And I think with the firepower that we have, we can do that easily. And they're a great team. Utah Valley's a lot like us. They have the athleticism, they have the coaching, all right. They have minor little unforced errors and discipline issues, but they clean that stuff up. And when they go on runs, they go on runs. But we're the exact same. We have a talented attack line, say so do they. Talented, disciplined, aggressive defenders, so do they. All right. It's really going to come down to our goalie play and the play at the faceoff X and the wings. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how we match up against them.
Well, and I'm looking forward to watching the video. I hope everybody that's watching this gets a chance to see it tonight. If for whatever reason you don't see this video until after the game, I hope that everybody got a good chance to meet, put a name to the face of our current head coach and a former player and a former alum, a very dominant personality around the FSU lacrosse family. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're probably pretty excited for the game tonight, so we'll let you go. We want to wish you lots of luck tonight. We'll be watching on the stream, and I can't wait to watch all the players that you've been mentioning and to watch the season unfold. So hopefully we could talk again in a few weeks and we have some more interesting news to say. So thank you so much. If there's anything else you want to say, go ahead. Other than that, good luck tonight.
Absolutely. Well, I'll keep it short and sweet. Thanks for having me on, George. And I'm willing to do this whenever you want. I love talking to the FSU family, and we love this exposure. We love the support that they're giving. We see you guys in the streams. We see you guys in the comment section. We love it. It fires the boys up. So keep it up. Yeah, if you can, if you're available, tune in tonight. And last but not least, go Knowles.
Go Knowles.